Alright guys, so it is a couple of days later. We're going to start doing the spoiler. Now, the first thing I'm going to try and do is get these wires through here and out through here. Now the problem is, like, drilling the hole for these is not the issue. The issue is trying to actually snake these through up into here. It's like, just got to somehow figure out how to do that. Like, might just need to tip it up. Just hopefully they come out. I don't really know what's going to happen, but I'm going to tape these two together so they stay together, and hopefully we can get them through. First things first, we have to drill a hole. So basically I want to get this in position and mark out where the hole needs to be. So I'm just going to use the point of this tape just to get a reference, and that should be right about there. So we're going to drill about here, just in the middle. Just a very small drill bit. All right, so I found a drill bit that's for my Dremel, but I'll use it on my actual drill. All right, so we just need to drill a hole in the middle somewhere, probably about here. That'll do. This stuff's actually pretty thick, which is probably a good thing. Now I'm just going to tape up these wires together. Now the idea of taping them is so they stay together all the way up through to there. Otherwise I'm going to try and get one in at a time. That's just not going to work. So I've got the wire in. Might actually just feed it all the way in and screw the light in so it doesn't fall out. And hopefully I can figure this out. Even the light doesn't fit exact. Okay, so the problem is I've forgotten where I put the screws for the light. So I have to try and find those. Alright guys, I could not for the life of me find where I left the screws for the light. But fortunately I found a couple that should do for now at least. I've got no doubt in my mind that when I'm not looking for them, I will find the screws that are for this, but for now these will have to do. Hopefully they'll be fine. Alright, so now the fun part, trying to get the wires out through here, which I've got no clue on how to do. Even if I can just get one to just sort of get around the hole, I might be able to just pull it out. Alright, so I found a paper clip. So what I'm going to do is just make a little hook. Like that. And try and use that to pull the wires out. The annoying part is I had one visible, but now I can't see any. Oh, I got them. I actually got both. Look at that. Paperclip hook works. I actually grabbed all, like, both wires, which is great. Pull them out, and we did it. Alright, so the wires are through. It's not actually as hard as I thought. So really all you need to do, put all the wires in there, shake it up a few times, dig in there with the little hook, and pull the wires out, and it's done. Alright, now that that's all ready to go, it's time for the fun part, which I am being sarcastic obviously, but we have to drill holes into the boot lid. And they have to be exact, otherwise I'm just going to be drilling random holes in the boot lid and it's going to look bad. So we're going to measure it all up. I'm going to keep that for another day. So what I've decided to do to sort of measure up where to go, I'm going to get this bit of tape, go from the middle of these two holes to there, cut it, take it off, put it on the boot lid because it's very hard to measure up the boot lid. So now using this, I have a reference for how long the spoiler is. And from here I can measure it up. So as you can see, I just eyeballed it and it's already shorter on this side than it is on this side. So measure that up. We've got 10 mil and we've got 15 millimeters. So it needs to go over 2.5 millimeters. So it wasn't that far off. Now if we see, that is basically where these holes need to be. So if we put this on, these holes should line up to about there. Since that all lines up pretty much right, I'm gonna go ahead and say that these marks that I've made previously on these spots should be right. So I'm just gonna wing it. Okay, so what I'm doing here is taping up the area that's gonna get drilled so it doesn't destroy any paint. This is the part that I'm dreading because I don't want to do it wrong, but I'm probably going to. So I just want you guys to remember that I am not a professional. I am literally doing this for the very first time, and I am really nervous that I am going to stuff it up, but I've just got to do it, and hopefully it works out. I bought an auto punch. I don't know how it works. All right, it's time to start drilling. Alright, so that's one side drilled. I'm not going to drill the other side until I know this is the right spot. I think it's in the right spot, but I need to make bigger holes. Okay, now there's no going back. Got the bigger holes drilled. I'm really not sure if this is going to work. Now, if at all possible, please do this with 2 people. I just don't have that luxury. So far so good. It looks about right. Tighten these up. Let's see where it's going to sit. I think I did it right. Alright, well, let me drill the other side and see what happens. I'm a little bit more optimistic now. Guess we just got to finish it and see what happens. We also have to drill another hole for the wires to get through. Alright guys, now it's the moment of truth. Got to see if it's actually all measures up. That's 315, 352. 315, 352. Well, they're in exactly the same spot, so that's a start. Now we just have to hope it lines up. Alright, mad. Spoiler's on. Look at that. Fits pretty good. The only issue I see with it is it has this slight little gap. I don't know if you can see it, but you can sort of, it's right on the edge here. There's a slight gap. It's still just off the root lid a little bit. And it's the same on the other side. So it's not a perfect fit. It's probably worse on this side. So it's not a perfect fit, but it's good for the price. Like, it comes painted in gloss black, it comes with a tail light, well, it comes with a brake light. It's a decent fit for the price. And relatively easy to install. Like, all I did was go off the spots that were already there from the factory lid. So now all I gotta do is drill a hole for the wires to come through, put some paint around the exposed steel, wire the brake light up, and see if that works. So I'm gonna take the spoiler off again. What I might do is make a little template. Alright, so the idea of this is I can mark where the holes are, pull that off. I can line it up with the holes that are on the car. I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but alrighty, so that mark there is where we're going to drill our next hole. So the idea is to try and get the wires through this hole and out through here and run up to this light here and splice it into that. I would probably rather run it to the middle brake light here, but that requires running through the wiring loom all the way up into there, where it's just easier to go straight into this one, as I'm pretty sure this has a brake light in it as well. Before I get into putting that all on, I'm going to just put some paint around some of the exposed metal here, just so it doesn't rust, basically. All right, so I've got some of this color coat from when I painted this. If you haven't seen that video, click up above. But I've still got some of this paint left over just in this, so I'm just going to spray a bit of it into the lid and use this cotton swab to just go around the exposed metal. Time to put this on for the last time, hopefully. It looks like that hole for the wires was in perfectly, which is good. Now if you wanted to, you could seal up that hole with the wires in it with some silicone or Sikaflex or something like that, because I don't think this is actually going to pull it down too much onto it. So I don't know if that's going to be a sealed hole or not. That'll be fine for now, but maybe look into something like that. All right, so now we just have to wire up the brake light. All right, so for now, I'm just going to use these quick connects to splice them up into the brake light. The only reason why I'm doing this instead of hard wiring is because the spoiler has to come off again to get painted, and doing it this way is just much easier for the painter to be able to disconnect it all, take it off, paint the whole lot, and then put it back together. So we're just going to use these. Hopefully there's enough room. I will trim this down a little bit. Now I don't really recommend these quick connects too often. They're a little bit unreliable, but for these purposes, it will be fine. So I'm splicing into black wire to black wire. Red wire goes to the green and white wire. And the way I checked that is I just checked the center brake light and saw what color that was, and basically that was it. And also when you're doing this, I would take out the globe in the center brake light. So take out the globe on this one, just so you're not having multiple center brake lights. It just looks a bit dicky. In my opinion, you might like it. If that's the case, go for it. And it's all basically in. It looks a little bit messy. It's the way it will be for the moment, at least until it's painted, and then it can be all done properly. Now we're going to test that light. And I can't see it at all. All right, so if you're like me and you don't have another person to check to see if the brake light works, the way I did it was set my phone up just like this, just so I can see the brake light. Focus it just so I can see the brake light. Press record, hit the brake pedal, and if it lights up, it lights up. So here we go, and there we go. Brake light turns on. So there we have it. That's pretty much how to install a spoiler. And as for the rear lip, I did end up cutting the exhaust, but then I went and bought a bolt-on tip, and I reckon that looks pretty good. It's like a $30 tip. It'll do until I get a full exhaust. But yeah, so the lip, spoiler, it's really not the best fitment, but you know, it's good for the $200 odd I paid for it. All in all, this is, you know, looking pretty decent. You know, front lip, Type R grille, rear lip, spoiler. Looks pretty decent. Like, it's starting to look like a proper modified car. I'm enjoying it. But obviously once it's all painted body color, it'll look much better. But until then, the black will do fine. You know, it's all sort of matte black down the bottom, gloss black at the top. Can't wait to get the new body panels on and get the whole thing painted. I'm just really excited for that. Also want to lower it a little bit, but that's in a future video at some point when I eventually do that. But it is starting to look much better. But anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked this video, and leave a comment. Let me know if you would do the same thing, if you would do something differently. Give me ideas for what to do in the future. Obviously it is going to get lowered, some new wheels, new tires, a whole bunch of other things. But if there's any style stuff you want to, because like this is pretty much, apart from getting painted in the same color, this is pretty much the style done. I'm not really doing anything else to it. So if you have any other tips or ideas you want me to try out for style wise, let me know in the comments. Obviously the windows will be getting tinted as well, but that'll be after probably the dents get fixed and all that sort of stuff, so we'll see. Make sure to subscribe and click the notification bell because I have a lot of other videos coming out, so make sure to keep your eye on that. And I have some more motorbike videos coming out, so please keep an eye out for that. I know you guys would rather the motorbike stuff since I started off being a motorcycle channel, and I know you guys aren't enjoying the Civic too much, but trust me, there is some stuff coming out with that. Anyway, I'm gonna leave you guys with that. Make sure to tune in next week. I have more videos coming out on the Civic. I think there's some interior stuff coming, so make sure to check those out, and I will see you guys in the next one.